Hi, students. It's week 7, and the midterm is due at the end of week 8. So you still have some time, but this is, midterm writing assignment focused on primary sources. And so it's probably time to start thinking it through, especially if you would like me to read a draft. So I just want to talk through the midterm with you, make sure you know how to get started. So this, as you can see, is the content page. I want to make sure you know where the syllabus is and the example, which are right here under course information, syllabus, and outline. Here is the syllabus. Here is the example. So in the syllabus, if you get to page 7, it looks like 6 and 7, you have some what I hope are pretty detailed instructions for you to get through the midterm and final. The focus of this, I like to think about as a writing assignment that is really mid or primary source driven. So you've done your bibliographies, you have pick one source from each bibliography, so you'll cover 2 different people, and then you're going to tell me everything that you can about that source, which includes biographical information and then historical context and then analysis of the primary source. So once you pick your source, you're going to write a biography section on your individual, and that will be using secondary sources. And then you will also be writing some information about what was going on in the country when that source was created. So we're kind of using the source as a jumping off point to take a deeper look at both the history and the biography of our individual. And then you will do an analysis of the primary source, just like we do with the guided analysis, but instead of me giving you questions, you will come up with your own analysis of it. So in the example, I did Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech, and obviously you wouldn't be doing that because we're in 151, so this is way later than you all. So I have provided these headings, which you're welcome to use if that helps you feel organized. So I have written just a couple of paragraphs of biography with a focus on the speech. What was going on when he did the speech? He was already an established civil rights leader by that point. So that again is where we're seeing the primary source driving that type of research. Then what's going on in the country. So here I give some information on the March on Washington where the speech was given and what was going on in the civil rights movement. So it's not just random things that were going on in the country, but what is giving context to that source. So a little bit of information on that. And then you're starting the analysis. I do want you to tell me the ABCs. It's my shorthand for giving you a process of analysis for primary sources. This isn't language that every teacher is going to be saying, oh, hey, what's the audience? But I really think it does help give you some sense of context for that source and see where it's coming from. So I do want you to do your audience, bias, and cause, which I've done here very clearly for the speech. And then we're going to get into your primary source itself. This is going to vary widely depending on what source you've chosen. The I Have a Dream speech is fairly long. It also is sort of literary in tone. So I have used some of the language of literary analysis to talk about the speech, about the word choice. If you're doing an illustration like a political cartoon, you're going to be talking more about the design, what's chosen to be featured. If you're doing a portrait, you'll be talking about color choice and positioning of the subject. A lot of different things can enter into the analysis. And this one is a speech. If you're doing a letter, you probably would want to include information about both the sender and the recipient and what their relationship was and how the language reflects that and if there's any motivation behind that kind of writing. You could even be looking at penmanship, the actual, if you have access to the actual paper itself instead of just a transcript. So you would go through and analyze. So all of that to be said, you do need to be able to have a sort of a bite-sized source. Many of you have done the Franklin Papers 1670 to 19 or 1820. That's way too much. Just pick one and focus on that. And then also you need to be able to read it. If there's no transcript and you can't read the historical handwriting, you are going to be stuck. So please let me know if you have questions and I will continue to give you instructions as we go. All right, good luck to everybody and I hope to hear from you soon.
Mom, remember